Imagine an ocean where the biggest predator in history suddenly disappears. Megalodon, a shark larger than a school bus, ruled the seas for millions of years as the ultimate apex predator. Its presence meant total control over marine life. But when it vanished, the ocean did not become peaceful. Instead, it became more dangerous and unstable. Something even more terrifying slowly began to take its place in the deep waters. But what really happened to Earth after Megalodon went extinct? Did the oceans finally become safer, or did nature create something worse to replace it? When a top predator disappears, the entire ecosystem changes in unexpected ways. The answer is not what most people expect, because extinction often leads to new forms of danger rising in its place. Megalodon lived around 3.5 million years ago and was the largest shark ever known. It thrived in warm oceans filled with giant marine mammals, which were its main food source. As the apex predator, it controlled the balance of marine life for millions of years. Then, suddenly, it disappeared from the fossil record, leaving behind a mystery in Earth's history. Around the final phase of Megalodon's existence, the Earth was already undergoing major transformation. Ocean temperatures started to slowly drop as global climate patterns shifted. What was once a warm and stable marine environment began to cool in unpredictable ways. At the same time, sea levels were changing, reshaping coastlines and altering shallow hunting grounds that Megalodon depended on for survival. These environmental changes may have seemed small at first, but over time they began to weaken the conditions that supported the largest predator in the ocean. As the oceans cooled, the entire food chain began to break apart. The massive marine mammals that Megalodon relied on for food started to migrate toward different regions in search of warmer waters. Some species became smaller over generations due to limited resources. This meant that Megalodon was suddenly facing a shrinking and moving food supply. Hunting became more difficult, and the energy required to survive began to exceed what the ecosystem could provide. At the same time, evolution was accelerating in other parts of the ocean. Smaller and faster predators began to appear and diversify. These new species did not rely on size alone, but instead used speed, intelligence, and adaptability to survive. While Megalodon dominated through sheer power, these new predators were becoming more efficient hunters. Slowly, competition in the oceans was no longer about being the biggest, but about being the most adaptable. Megalodon began to face serious survival challenges. Its massive body required enormous amounts of energy every day, and with less available prey, sustaining itself became increasingly difficult. Unlike smaller predators, it could not quickly adapt to new environments or hunting strategies. Its size, once its greatest strength, turned into a weakness. Every generation found it harder to survive in a changing ocean that no longer supported giants. Eventually, Megalodon disappeared from the fossil record entirely. There is no single confirmed event that caused its extinction, but the combination of climate change, food scarcity, and rising competition created conditions it could not overcome. The greatest predator the oceans had ever seen was gone, leaving behind only teeth fossils as evidence of its existence. After Megalodon vanished, the oceans did not fall into peace. Instead, they entered a period of instability and constant struggle. With the top predator removed, new hunters began competing fiercely for dominance across different marine regions. Whales, which once lived in fear of Megalodon, began evolving stronger defense strategies, such as larger group formations, deeper diving abilities, and increased intelligence to avoid attacks. But danger did not disappear with its extinction. In fact, it spread in new forms. Smaller shark species, now free from the fear of being hunted by a giant predator, began to evolve more aggressive hunting behaviors. They expanded their territories and adapted quickly to fill the empty ecological space left behind. The ocean became a place of constant competition rather than controlled dominance. Every species was forced to adapt or disappear. In this new world, survival depended not on size, but on speed, strategy, and evolution. The emotional truth of this transition is simple, yet powerful. Without Megalodon, the balance of the ocean did not stabilize. Instead, it collapsed into chaos, where every creature was fighting to become the new ruler of the deep. For a long time, it was believed that when Megalodon disappeared, another single predator would rise to take its place. But the truth is far more complex and surprising. Megalodon was not replaced by one dominant creature. Instead, it was replaced by many different species, each adapting to fill a small part of the enormous ecological gap it left behind. The ocean did not crown a new king. It divided power among multiple hunters, creating a completely new balance of life in the seas. In this new world, the structure of marine dominance changed completely. Great white sharks began to rise as one of the most efficient predators, using speed, precision, and energy efficiency instead of pure size. At the same time, orcas evolved into the most intelligent and coordinated hunters in the ocean, capable of strategic group attacks and complex communication. Unlike Megalodon, which relied on raw power, these predators relied on intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork to dominate their environments. This transformation reveals a powerful truth about evolution. Nature does not always favor the biggest or strongest creature. Instead, it rewards those that can adapt quickly to changing conditions. The age of Megalodon showed that being massive was once an advantage, but the modern ocean shows that survival belongs to those who are flexible, intelligent, and efficient in their behavior. Scientists believe that one of the main reasons Megalodon went extinct was climate cooling. As global temperatures dropped, the warm water habitats that Megalodon depended on became smaller and less suitable. This reduced its hunting range and made survival increasingly difficult over time. The fossil record supports this timeline clearly. After approximately 3.5 million years ago, there are no further traces of Megalodon teeth or remains. This sudden disappearance suggests that it did not slowly evolve into another species, but instead went completely extinct. At the same time, marine mammals were evolving rapidly. Whales and other large sea creatures adapted more effectively to changing ocean conditions. They became faster, more intelligent, and more capable of avoiding large predators like Megalodon. This created a shift in the balance of survival. Modern predators such as great white sharks and orcas survived because of their smaller size and lower energy requirements. They did not need massive amounts of food to survive, which made them more stable in changing environments. Additionally, their flexible diets and behaviors allowed them to adapt to different prey and conditions, giving them a major evolutionary advantage. The story of Megalodon teaches a simple but powerful lesson. Being the biggest creature in the ocean does not guarantee survival. Size alone cannot protect a species from environmental change or competition. Evolution always favors adaptability over raw strength. Species that can adjust their behavior, diet, and environment have a far greater chance of surviving long-term changes than those that rely only on power or dominance. Earth's ecosystems are never stable. They are constantly shifting due to climate, geography, and biological evolution. What dominates today may disappear tomorrow, and new forms of life will always emerge to take its place. Even the greatest apex predators are temporary in the history of Earth. Megalodon once ruled the oceans without competition, yet it still disappeared. This reminds us that no species is permanent at the top forever. The world that existed after Megalodon was not safer, nor was it more dangerous in a simple way. It was simply different. Power in the ocean became distributed among many species instead of controlled by one giant predator. But this raises an even more fascinating question. What if Megalodon still existed today in modern oceans filled with advanced marine life and human activity? How would the world change if the largest predator ever known returned? If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts below. Do you think Megalodon could survive in today's oceans, or would it face extinction again?